What's up, everyone? Welcome to the 502nd episode of the Pokemon Podcast. It's super effective. I'm your host, Steve. With me is Will.
Am I really with you? I don't know.
Arceus be with us.
No. And what you did to me yesterday, in some countries, in some treaty arrangements, would be considered a high crime of international proportions.
You had fun.
I hope. Do you hear this? This is exactly what they tell you.
There are four
You
lights.
are having fun now. You are having fun. Yes, this is fun for you. Yes.
Greg also here.
Hello, I am
What
also
country
here.
was that supposed to be?
That was non-specific country accent intended to
Correct.
offend none.
I am back from my grand anniversary. I left yesterday to go have a wonderful anniversary.
Lucky you had an out.
I had an out. I said, see ya. I'm going to go eat very expensive food. I cannot find my notes.
For the show? What? Wait, for
Yeah.
Pokemon of the Week? What are you looking for? You have, like, detailed notes from this morning?
I have a lot of things, but I can't find any of them.
Oh, so he's
you look
allowed
like
to
a-
have detailed notes, but I'm going through frame by frame and getting made fun of.
Not made fun of.
I watched the Presents like 5 times already.
Oh, wait. Also,
Okay.
at some point, you said to your stream, Will's gonna show up for recording, not having watched the Presents. Why would you say that?
No, I was
Yeah.
reading something in Slack. I don't remember who's in Slack said that.
Sure, that somehow those words got attributed to
Found
you. And
it.
guess what happens when you say things like that? I start getting text messages and tweets from people who are like, "Well, I guess I've got to do a live stream of the Presents after this afternoon, so Will can get caught up."
No, I knew you were going to be watching.
I don't know.
Look, somebody has to be more jaded than me, so I don't seem like the jaded
I
Pokemon
guess
fan.
it's what do they call it? Like so that it's a honeypot, so people can now self-identify that these are the ones I've got to block on Twitter.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, got it. Okay, so here's the deal. We are going to pretty much ignore all other Pokemon news with the exception of they talked about Pokemon Go today. We're just going to give our experiences of yesterday, which was Johto Tour. And
I
we're
mean, I
just
have
gonna...
a little to say about Pokemon Masters.
Oh, I mean, that's part of the
in there.
news.
That's in there.
Yeah, it's in there.
Okay. I thought you were saying we're going to ignore all of the Pokemon news. And I'm like,
No, we're going to ignore all the Pokemon news except for the news today.
oh, so you aren't clear. This is the
I'm
biggest
about to
issue
set
I
it
have.
up. You know, if your boys didn't interrupt me nonstop.
Oh, here we go. If you'd ever get to the point the first time, we wouldn't have to interrupt and correct you.
If I always got directly to the point, we would have a 15-minute show.
and everybody would be happy and I could nap.
They'd be so thrilled. They could move on to their next podcast. The one with actual news about the world.
I have way too many windows open. Hey, speaking about news in the world, this was given to, what do they call those people who report news?
Reporters,
News reporters.
journalists.
Yeah.
PR stuff. The Pokemon
Public
Company
relations?
did say...
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a press release is not that's not news.
No.
Okay, what I'm reporting on it, so it's my news, right?
Yeah, there you
I'm
go.
like a
Yeah. You're
They-
the quote-unquote journalist in this scenario.
Correct. Yes. Please verify me on Twitter. This says this. So the Pokemon Company said we wish to be sensitive to major world events happening at this time and those impacted. A pre-scheduled Pokemon Presents was unable to be postponed. Out of respect to our global audiences, we decided to significantly reduce the promotion of the event while also giving fans an opportunity to tune in if they choose to do so. Enclosed, you will find the press materials supporting the announcements made in the presentation. So I would say that today's news was pretty big, obviously.
Yeah.
And you would maybe... I saw lots of people this morning that did not know that this was happening. So it was not promoted as heavily as it was, especially
True.
for the 25th.
Including
or the 20th.
Will. I bet Will didn't listen to it before he came to
Yeah, I heard. I heard Will messed up. So we will be going over that. We'll be going over all the news today. The Gen 9 stuff is going to be after break. We're going to get all the like lighter stuff out of the way. Then we'll take a break. Then we'll do the Gen 9. Obviously, there's a lot to say there, but that's why we want to get the other stuff out of the way first. So we're just going to go through this press release here. And I believe they started off with Pokemon Go, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
So this is the 26th anniversary. I don't do most companies don't care, right? They care about like the 20s, the 25s, the 30s, the 35s.
Once you get past 10, you just care about the 5s.
Yeah. And to be fair, so I think the one thing we didn't do is we didn't really look back on the 25th and go like, was that good or was that bad? During it, we were.
It was bad.
I think it was not bad. I mean, like
it wasn't good.
They had new Pokemon Snap, Pokemon Unite, Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, and Legends. That's four pretty big games.
Legends is this year. You cannot sweep Legends into 25.
No. It's within the 25th anniversary.
It is within the 20
year because it's before the anniversary. When you had your anniversary dinner last night, you weren't like that's for 2022. You're like that's for between the 2021 and 2022.
No,
those dates. Yeah, that's how anniversaries work, Greg.
Look, if your birthday, if your 50th birthday is in July and you get hit by a car the week before. You're still 49 when you get hit by the car.
Why specifically those ages, which are only relevant to one person recording right now?
Okay.
No, they're already 50. See, that doesn't.
It was not. It was announced on the 25th. It wasn't released until the 26th.
The 26th started today.
This year, which is the 26th anniversary.
The 26th started today, Greg.
Yeah.
Oh, so we're saying that the year anniversaries start. Not at the start of the year, but on Pokemon Day.
Correct. Yes. Like your birthday.
This is what happens when you aren't clear.
Also, Steve just revealed he has no idea how old I am.
Yes.
Fun.
No, I know how old you are.
Oh, how old is he?
Clearly
47.
Not. No.
What?
I love this. Great. Let's keep on going. Keep
Perfect.
it rolling.
All right.
Just dig that hole deeper, buddy.
I think though I think Pokemon Unite was pretty big. You know, it might not have no game's going to have the momentum of Pokemon Go, but they're still releasing characters. They're still supporting it. People do still like it. I think it has been in a weird place and they haven't figured out how to balance it. But I would say I had as much fun with Pokemon Unite that I did with new Pokemon Snap. Are you saying
really big in the world as a whole or really big in the Pokemon community?
I think 4 big games. Like I wouldn't say I personally wouldn't say Cafe Mix is a huge game. I also wouldn't say Magikarp Jump is a huge game. I wouldn't say Pokemon what was that? What was that game that got canceled? Pokemon Duel. I wouldn't say those were big games, but I would say Unite and Snap are 2 pretty big spin-off games. And then we got, even though I didn't like Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, that game meant something to some people.
I love it. Still playing it this morning.
And then Legends. So I think 4 games in a year is great. It doesn't look like that's the case this year based on this Pokemon Day, but you never know. It seems like, hey, we got one big game. And
how many copies did Legends Arceus sell?
Last was reported was like 6.5.
Okay. So
we haven't had an update.
Unite. So I will give you this. Unite, when I'm reading this article, which was November 27th, had accumulated 9 million players. So that's like 9 million copies.
Yeah. The hard thing is like, is that active players? Is that most players? Is that just people who downloaded it? Was it people who downloaded it but played one game?
I mean, but like, we don't know how much they played Arceus. We have X amount of units sold, 11 million, 6 million, whatever it is. I mean,
they could have bought it and then
but I think that's a fair comparison for Unite. So, yeah, I would say it's a fairly big game.
I think they had a pretty good year, honestly. It probably would have been better if it wasn't for the pandemic. But 4 big games, some collaborations with other companies. I thought the year was pretty good.
I will agree. It was a good year. It is not what I would have wanted for the 25th anniversary, but it's still a good year. Yes.
So that leads into 26 years of Pokemon. And the first bit of news that they started off with was Pokemon that first appeared in the Alola region for the setting of Pokemon Sun and Moon will be appearing in Pokemon Go at 10 a.m. local time on March 1st. Until then, you will be able to see Alolan Executor appearing in the wild. And that was pretty much it. That was like, we're done with Go. Move on.
Do we have all the Unova and Kalos Pokemon?
Far from it.
Okay.
That's what I was thinking too. I was like,
This
is kind of early.
It felt like...
Off the top of my head, we don't have Volcarona.
We don't have Kecleon.
Yeah. We don't have Shaman. We don't have... Well, we have Darkrai. We don't have Manaphy. We don't have Fione. We do have Victini.
But Mythicals are different, because you want to save those for, like, the...
Yeah, but they
Unova
skipped over
tour.
Shaman and Manaphy, and they went right for Meloetta and Victini. Like, that was kind of weird.
Yeah, but we don't have... Oh, they do have Genesect. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Real.
Here's the real question. We were getting Volcarona.
I don't know.
Volcarona movie coming back to the theaters.
There was
That
never a
tie-in.
Volcarona movie.
We don't have Go-Goat in X and Y. Skidoo and Go-Goat we don't have.
Right.
We don't have Honedge? That is
We
Gen
don't have
6?
Honedge. I just felt like them announcing Alola, and I'm like, but not everybody's here yet. I mean, I want a Cutie Fly, so I'm 1,000% here for Cutie Fly and Go, but...
You're right, because Flababy was just like a week
Flababy
ago.
was just released
2 weeks ago.
So I looked at it and I thought, oh, okay, it just felt early.
Maybe they're just gonna do a super slow drip.
That's what they've been doing?
How slower can it get a plumber?
Even slower than
I think it's, I think the next, I guess it's going to be called Season of Alola, right? Because they...
instead of, like, Season of Heritage, Season of Alola?
Season of Heritage. That was my takeaway, was going to be called Season of Alola. I guess by the time this podcast comes out, it'll be 24
Why can't it be called
hours.
Season of Islands? Island living. Island type.
Could be.
Margaritaville.
Here's my guess. We'll get the 3 starters. They'll be a little bit more rare in the wild, but not impossible. For whatever reason, when they did the Kalos starters, they made Froakie slightly more rare than everyone else. Makes sense because people genuinely like Greninja. Greninja's cool. I have no qualms with Greninja. He's a cool boy. His tongue is a scarf. Very cool.
That's the part I hate the most.
What are we getting? Like not Young Goose and Pikapak and Cutie Fly, and then that's it. And then we'll probably have to wait a month for 2 other Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think. Yeah, Cutie Fly is on that first island. Pikapak, Young Goose, and who else is on that first island that was new? Maybe
Cutie
maybe the fighter crab. What is its name?
Crabrawler.
But we already
but they won't give us a way to evolve it.
We already have the Alolan forms of the Kanto Pokemon.
Right. We have a bunch of the Alolan forms.
So they'll get away with being like, here's Vulpix in the wild. I'm like, I'm sick of Vulpix.
Well, just like they did with the Alolan Executor, and it's like,
are
but
they
we
going
already
to
had
introduce an Alola stone so you can take any of your Cubones and make them Alolan Marowaks?
I don't know. I guess we'll see Marowak come back in raids, right? Unless I don't know if he's.
I would like to be able to turn my shiny Cubone into my favorite.
It would be nice to be able to
form.
turn a shiny Pikachu into an Alolan Raichu. That would be nice. I think, though,
given the pattern that they may do that with an Alola stone, right? Like we have Sinnoh stones, we have Unova stones.
It's time. Give me that Alola. Speaking of stones, though, I think the summer thing is Z crystals. What gimmick can they do to continue to carry on why you would need. See, so here's the thing. Like,
okay.
we still have this conversation where people are like, "What happens when they run out of Pokemon?" That doesn't matter. They've already proven for 6 years that drip feeding one Pokemon a month, people still are playing this game.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter when we run out of Pokemon. They'll just throw hats on it. They'll just take them away. They'll reintroduce them. Like, nothing was new in the Johto tour. I don't know why I did 20 Lugia raids and 40 Ho-Oh raids. I did those 5 years ago. It's just,
I
you're
don't
there.
know why either.
It's there.
I was there.
We're
and telling
here.
you, why are you doing this?
I was there. They were there, and I did not do.
I
as
didn't
many
do them
of those
either.
Raids.
I was like, I needed to look. Lugia, me and Lugia, we got that.
Well, you're gonna get another one. None of them shined for me. Although I did get a shiny Suicune and I got a shiny Raikou.
Entei? Raikou.
Okay, so back to the Z crystal idea. Do you think it will be a crystal that you can add a fourth move, like a one-time
No.
Z move?
I think you'll be able to use it in a raid to do big damage to a boss, and you will have to collect something like how you collect the Mega Energy. You will have to collect
Oh,
Z
I'm out.
energy.
that is
I'm
the
out.
worst idea. I like my
I'm
idea
out.
better.
But this is what I'm thinking, right? Like, you collect the energy so you can need less people because you'll be able to do, because you did the work to collect the energy. You'd be like, oh, we need 4 people to do it. Don't worry, brother and sister. I have plenty of Z crystal power.
Lost
I'll be
interest.
I'm out.
I
Your
think it's
idea's
going to be
bad.
another thing you can grind and
It should be
collect.
called the Triple Z crystal because
Yeah.
I fell asleep at the thought of having to do this.
You see what I'm saying, though? They got to give.
I
you,
see what you're saying. I think it's a terrible idea. I hope they don't go that way.
Yeah, I mean, I think introducing the Pokemon is enough. They don't have to do a special feature.
I think they're doing a gimmick. They got to do a gimmick.
I mean, they don't got to do nothing, but
They gotta do a gimmick for people to be like-
gimmick.
They got to do a gimmick for people to be like, oh, this seems cool. I want to come back. Or, hey, this is another thing I can grind. Or, hey, this is another thing I
Well,
can
just
collect.
as we can figure out how can they make money out of it, and then
Correct.
that is where
Here's the thing. I do not want to be in Mall of America on Hoenn tour having to listen to Steve scream about Z crystals. Who you Z crystal in? What Z crystal you gonna do? No, you gotta do grass Z crystal this time. Grass. You're doing grass. You do grass. You do fire. You do electric. Get the crystals. Get the crystals. Why aren't you getting crystals?
I think Mega Pokemon in Go are a million times more useful than they ever were in the main series game.
I
I
don't,
don't
know.
disagree.
Mega evolved a
and-
Beedrill and didn't use it once.
I had
No,
a Mega
you were getting
Abomasnow.
extra candy every raid just because you
But
had a
extra
magnet.
what candy?
Extra the Pokemon candy. Like, if you did a Lugia, you would get extra Lugia candy.
What
if
am
you
I
did an
gonna
Entei,
use
you would
Lugia candy for?
to power up the Lugia.
But I'm
Have
never
you
gonna
met
power
me?
up Lugia.
I've never powered up anything unless I'm forced
I know.
to,
You
and then I
almost
say, "What are my
spent
lowest
rare
CP
candies
Pokemon?"
on Meltan, and I almost had a heart attack.
Yeah, that I am in Wills. Spend your rare candies how you want to
And
spend
you
them.
know here's the thing. It's like, oh, you can easily pop that box and get 30 Meltans and
You sure
pineapple
can.
and guess what's never gonna happen? No box
Popping
popping
that
up in
box.
this house.
There's no box popping allowed.
Ship has sailed.
I Meltanned at one point in my life. I Melmetaled at one point in my life. Transferred it into Let's Go Pikachu and done.
Moved on.
Before we move off Go, Johto
Okay.
Tour, give me your thoughts. Starting with Greg.
Why does Dunsparce not appear in the wild? The one thing I wanted, a chance at a shiny Dunsparce I would have canceled my anniversary on the chance that there would have been a pink cutie somewhere, and it never spawned. There was no spawns.
What?
Garbage.
I got
day.
3 the entire day. Not spawns, but they were no, I got 2. I got a spawn off an incense, but there was like a mission that gave you one that popped up. I think there was 2 missions.
Is that appearing in the wild all day like all the others?
You know the The selection of Pokemon was a bit weird, but also Johto's pretty limited
I mean,
Pokedex.
it's hard for me. It's like I will say, going into Johto, Johto is my unequivocally my least favorite gen. So I was just much more there to be like, I'm with my friends and I will catch what I catch. There wasn't anything other than Dunsparce that I was like, I kind of want this as shiny. I'm happy with the few that I got. I had a good day, but there's nothing about Johto or the Pokemon from Johto that I'm ever all that enthused about.
Well, except Cyndaquil, of course.
Well, yeah, but we already
okay.
had Cyndaquil today, and you and I spent the entire day having a great time catching our buddy.
Yep.
I did not need to replicate that.
A couple weird so there was a bunch of babies, and they put the babies in 2Ks, which is like understandable. And on a day that you're supposed to be like walking and getting out, and it was 1/4 egg distance or something, you could be hatching even if you didn't buy any incubators. By the way, I bought incubators. What a
fool!
What a that burned. Like I would have had more fun just starting $15 on fire.
That is even worse than what Bobby would do.
Now that I said that, I would have had more fun starting $15 on fire. I do want to disclose Niantic did pay for my ticket to Johto too.
And technically mine, I think.
Yes, technically
But
Greg's
then
ticket
they
as well.
got paid back because I saw how much money you spent last night when you needed more raid passes.
They sure did. Okay, but the thing is, you're already limited with a Pokedex. I get that you're like Skarmory for this game, Mantine for this game. Also, it's Mantine, not Mantine, because it's like Tyke, teen as like teenager. Fanfy for this game.
But Mantike came after.
I know, but
Yeah.
that's how they say.
No.
Look,
Well,
the
then
Pokedex
where's
3D Pro.
Man-Adult?
Man-Adult will come in Gen 9. Don't spoil it, Greg.
Oh my god, there's no Gen 9 yet.
Man-Adult's the worst.
But they put Quillfish in 7K eggs, so I saw you can only get so many 7K eggs. And I know this because you can only open gifts to get 7K eggs, and I opened so many gifts, they were like, you can't open any more gifts, and I was like, I'm not going to waste a super incubator on a 2K egg. I was using my super incubators on 7K eggs. So my chances of Quillfish are literally out the window now. And Dunsparce was where was Dunsparce? Where was Quillfish? Why? I thought, if anything, Girafarig would have been rare, and they had a whole hour dedicated to Girafarig. They put that boy everywhere.
Also, I'm going to take an argument with your Mantine, because it is often believed that it's Manta Ray and Brine, which is Tine.
Look, I'm going off the 3D Pro, the Pokemon Battle Revolution, Cerebee's pronunciation guide, and the anime. They all say Mantine. That's what I got. I liked the 5 zones. I liked the 5 zones, 5 zones again, 2 hours of whatever at the end. I liked what they did with the trainers. So in the Kanto,
Oh, yeah.
In the Kanto, they had
you did.
Sure you did.
in the Kanto, they had it where like the trainers would just be everywhere, like Team Rocket, and they were kind of annoying, and sometimes Pokemon would spawn underneath them. And in this, it was like you had to do the 8 trainers in order, which was kind of cool, and then it was one at a time. And once you got past that first mission, which I never did, because I was like, for 3 hours, I was like, where are these trainers? I just never did the first mission. Once you did the first mission, they pop up. They weren't terribly hard to find, right?
No, well, I struggled finding the dragon one. Like, the dragon one just would not pop for me. I would say I spent 40 minutes trying to find it, and it finally happened. So I don't know what requirements were needed, but it took a while.
The other thing is I liked that they did the Raikou Entei Suicune. I thought that was like really fun. Mm-hmm. It was exciting to see them. I like that they ran. That was like, part of the old games.
Unless I think they were shiny like mine was.
I think they did a bad job. So they did 2 things that I think were bad for consumers directly. Number 1 is they didn't overly communicate that Espeon needed to be evolved before 6 p.m. And if you did not do that, you did not complete your evolutionary quests.
And it had to be your buddy, I'm pretty sure.
It did, but you did not need to do the walking requirement.
Right.
And I think they did a bad job at saying, hey, when you find these wild legendary Pokemon, you need to take a picture of them, and then you can catch them like normally.
Yeah.
Which was like, I think they kind of dropped the ball in the communication there with those two things. I do think those two things were good. But
I mean, if you didn't read that quest very carefully, yeah, you missed the whole taking a picture part, which is, I missed it first. I'm like, oh, I'm supposed to take a picture of them in the wild.
Well, yeah, and which also, like, you could have taken a picture of them if you beat them in a raid, and that counted.
And
it's
that-
like,
that
that's
counted,
not really
too.
in the wild, because
Yeah.
it was in a raid.
nah, you paid the $1.
I didn't. I mean, I had so many extra raid passes stored up.
Will, you were only going to stay till about 3 p.m. You ended up staying until 9 p.m. How was your day?
I had an accident, but my only sole review of the entire day is this. I would have won. I would have had 2 years in a row winning the tour day. And I want to quote Liam Neeson, but I never saw the movie, so I can't say it exactly. But I will find out who put the mossy lure, or whatever it's called, at the food court at the Mall of America, so that when my alarm went off at 6 p.m., so that I could evolve that EV into Umbreon, which was the last thing that I needed to do to finish all the quests for the day, which I had read, and I couldn't do it because it wanted to turn into a Leafeon. I'm going to harm that person so bad.
So by that, who won?
So the saddest moment of the day was me getting a text from Greg showing that he had finished the evolution thing, which was the last thing that we had to finish. And my only reply to that, I can't say on this program
It was
because
rude.
we're family
he said
friendly.
rude things to me, and said I'm stuck with a mossy lure, and then I text back, ha ha ha, get wrecked. I won.
Would have won. That's. I mean, it was, y'all walked too much. My feet were hurting. I thought I had worn the good shoes, but I didn't. But I mean, as usual with Pokemon Go events, for me, it's just the opportunity to hang out and have weird experiences with my friends, and I certainly had plenty of that yesterday. So.
Oh, to the person that stopped by and said hi, sorry.
Yeah.
It was a wild day. Next time, just sort of hang around a little bit and talk for a bit, because we could have stopped.
I know, that's a reminder.
said hi.
It's
I
like,
don't
if
even-
you see us, especially if you see the three of us in public together, you are allowed to come and say a few words. Maybe not monopolize our time for an hour and a half, but maybe like 5 minutes of conversation is allowable.
Like,
It's
I
okay.
barely clocked a person was there before it was over.
Yeah.
And I feel bad that I didn't say hi or find out what your name was, or so. Hello, person. Hope you had a good community day. We're at the Mall of America a bunch.
Mm-hmm.
Say hi.
I think, at least for me, it was worth the whatever. What was the cost of the ticket? $12?
Free for you, clearly.
for me.
Free for me.
Well,
13.
not free for me. I spent $100.
Well, you
It's
made
like
other
$13
choices.
or something like that.
Yeah, I'd be hard pressed to find somebody that didn't have a great time, 'cause it's not like there was any secrets. Like, you kind of knew exactly what you were paying for up front. There was no surprises. I thought, I was a little worried there was going to be a lot of like starters or a lot of just repeat stuff. Like Mareep, I thought Mareep was going to litter everywhere. I think they did a really good job with 100 Pokemon and spacing them out appropriately over the 5 hours. I mean, obviously they had to put in Gen 1 Pokemon too, because
There were
evolution.
a lot of Gen 1 Pokemon, and there were relatively no Dunsparce. So you could have swapped out
Dunsparce
One-
and Bullfish were the two weird
one of
exceptions
those
there.
Kantos for a Dunsparce, please.
Yeah, so I thought it was a good event. I had a great time. I ended up walking 10 miles. I went up 2.5 million experience. So overall, pretty happy. But yeah, Sun and Moon stuff is now coming. We'll move on to the next bit here in the presents, which was there's an ongoing Pokemon event in Pokemon Masters EX. They were celebrating the 2.5 year anniversary since the game was released. If you logged in, well, I don't actually know if this will be available, but if you log in on Pokemon Day, you will get 3,000 gems for free. They're also doing 10 sync pairs a day for 10 days at no cost, so they're doing another 100 free sync pairs.
Yeah.
And then May, Skyla, and Raihan will be appearing in special outfits. Those are like the 3 characters this year. And
So,
they said,
are you going to call these the bait characters for what's coming up on the 3rd? Because you called Sigma Suit Leon bait.
I'm not a huge May fan. I don't really care about her that much. I like the Skyla, though. I like Tornadus. I like Skyla. I think her outfit's great.
The thing about Skyla getting a new partner is it has to be way better than the Skyla is now, because current Skyla is S tier, always bring super powered. So if you want it to be used, that Tornadus had better do everything that Swanna can do and more, or nobody's going to use it.
But here's the thing for me, and they said this in the presents, is they have 142 characters.
Yeah.
I just like collecting the characters.
Yeah.
So I pull out a banner. If I get one, I move to the next banner. A lot of characters are optimal at 3. You need, for maybe those that don't play Masters, you can collect a character up to 5 times. So every time, so if you got 2 Grimsleys, you're now they like merge together, and now your Grimsley's like slightly better. But when you get 3 of a character, it unlocks like their little sync grid a little bit better.
It unlocks the entire sync grid. So when they're level 1, you can only go so far in your build out. Level 2 opens a few more options. Level 3, every option in the sync grid is open, so you can customize. They will max out at level 5 as far as stats, but the stats don't matter as much as having a full sync grid. Mm-hmm. So people say like 3 out of 3 is where you want to be, because that's where you get the full sync grid, and you can make the most choices and actually like customize more. But there are still stat boosts that go up until they're 5 out of 5.
Yeah.
Also, Pokemon Masters Victory Road is the best tutorial about how to play their game that I've seen in a mobile game in a very long time.
And they give you 5,000 gems.
And they give you 5,000 gems at the end, and they give you one of the Sigma Suits trio. But I decided to just try it. So I'm like, okay, well, how good? Like, I want to see what this is. You don't have to have anything. You don't have to have super powerful pairs. Everything is rental. They give you scenarios. They walk you through how the game is actually played and what all the things that are confusing mean.
Is it just like a tutorial of like you hitting the auto button?
No. You have to
I just hit that auto button and let it go.
Because of the fact that you're using the rentals and the move pools are specifically configured for you to have to do what they're asking you to do. And that's not hard as long as you're reading. They're like, okay, this is what this means, so make sure that you do this. As long as you do that, you'll get through it easy. But it is such an elegant way that they tell you about the finer parts of how their battling system works. And at the end, you still don't have to do the hard content, but at least finally gives you a reason to say, now that I understand how I'm supposed to play this game and what these various things mean, because they also added in the special and physical symbols now.
Mm-hmm. I saw that.
So now like before you couldn't ever tell, like, okay.
I think you could tell on the card before you went into battle of like, oh, this is a physical unit. This is a special unit.
But sometimes they had different moves, so they're mixed. So you never really knew, like, well, what are they using the most? What is my enemy using the most? because it now shows what the enemy is. So like you can focus on, well, I now know it focuses on physical attack, so I want to bring a unit that ups defense.
Mm-hmm.
And so the Victory Road walks you through all of that. And I did the whole thing. I'm like, this is really clever. This is well done. The rewards are great. The storyline is fun. You see a bunch of people. You get to talk to a bunch of people. It's a really, like, for as much as I rag on Master sometimes, like, this was incredibly well implemented. And I am very proud of what they did there. Because I'm like, this is what this needed to be. And more games need to do this if you want more people to play the harder content.
Yeah, I think like 5,000 gems is a real good incentive to do something that they're pretty much like guaranteeing you not to fail at. And I would probably wager if you're like me and you like collecting characters and you do bad, like I've done some of the legendary arenas and I've done them fine. And when I have time to sit down and like do it, like it is enjoyable. I don't make it a priority because other games exist, and like I like Pokemon Go a whole lot, so that's like my normal default game. But I would wager if you don't have any desire to even get the 5,000 gems and sit through Victory Road, I don't know what else is going to convince you to like enjoy this game. Like they're really being like, this is how you play it because we want you to enjoy it. Yeah, I don't know what else they can do really at that point.
No,
I don't think they have a problem with people just like me buying gems, pulling characters, and that's fine. I don't think they have a problem with that.
But it is nice to see a game that says our game has gotten complex, and the harder content does require a level of attention that nothing else in the game needs. So here's how you do that. If at the end of this you find that, oh, I really like what you showed me, and I think this could be fun, it's a great way to get started.
The next announcement after that
wait. My one comment on Pokemon Masters, the announcement, it really aggravated me that they completely validated Steve's pronunciation of Raihan. I'm like, y'all could have said Ryan, but no, you went with Raihan, and now you have. I'm never playing Sword and Shield ever again. I don't want to see that character.
Fair. There's another pronunciation that they did too that really satisfied me. Next, it was Aegislash, because everyone says Aegislash, but it's Aegislash with an E. Next one was Pokemon Cafe Remix. Unfortunately, I don't think the three of us play this game at all, but they did 3 updates to it. There was a login bonus of the celebrity crown outfit for Bulbasaur.
Correct.
Which you can get from available until Tuesday, March 8th. A 4-day period of increased shiny chance for Piplup, and that will go until March 1st, which is very soon. So I think that actually started on whenever they had it on the calendar. Do you remember that Pokemon Day calendar?
Yep.
And then an opportunity to use the new delivery feature 11 times at no cost until March 8th. I believe the delivery feature is their gotcha feature that they added.
Yes.
And that's how you get Victini, Will.
Now, let me tell you, if you think Pokemon Go is money grabby, if you think Pokemon Masters is money grabby, let me introduce you to Cafe Remix. The remix was, let's remix the way of getting your money easier. Then the other bit of news here is Pokemon Unite. They announced Hoopa last week for whatever was that, Thursday, I think. They announced the mythical Pokemon Hoopa. You can play pretty much any character for free for the next couple days. You can also, there's a login event for Pokemon Day. If you log in one day, you get a hat. If you log in the second day, you get a shirt, totally free. You have until March 14th to do that. And then they announced Duraludon as the next Pokemon coming. They've been doing one Pokemon a month, so I'm guessing Duraludon is just next month. The interesting thing about Hoopa is it seems to be a pretty unique character compared to other characters. It can warp characters around. I've heard it's broken. I don't know if that's a good broken or a bad broken.
Everybody says it's broken. I just want to know why Hoopa is eating so many donuts on the Pokemon Unite site.
You know, Pokemon Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl.
So are we gonna do a Unite night?
I do want to do Unite. Yes, I would like to I would like to see what's happening in that game. I don't know if it's any better, but maybe people will come back because every character is free and see what's happening there. I know there's a small Cramorant event that's going on where at the end you get a Slowbro that has nothing to do with Cramorant, but that's the final reward.
I mean, they're both water.
I think it's because they're both like derpy cowboy outfits.
Oh, yeah.
The Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl was the shortest. I timed this. It was the shortest news out of all the news we just covered, which is funny because I think...
Wait a minute. Shorter than the Pokemon Go?
It was definitely shorter than the Pokemon Go.
Really?
Because the Pokemon Go had the Executor part that they added on.
I mean, I'll take your word for it.
They were both like a minute altogether. But the Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, you would think like, oh, here comes the GWS. Maybe they're fixing this. Maybe here comes the home support. Just Shaman. Which is like, it's even hard to be excited for Shaman because if you bought Diamond and Pearl, you get the Shaman in Legends.
Yeah, but you can't move it to Diamond and Pearl, can you?
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
There's two ways to
maybe
get Shaman.
It's somebody's favorite mythical. Maybe it's like Shaman Day.
Starting February 27th, trainers can receive Oak's letter by choosing Get via Internet in the mystery gift. Once trainers get Oak's letter, they can talk to the Professor Oak on Route 224. He will ask for cooperation in regarding a stone tablet found in the Kanto region. It's always Kanto. Trainers will assist Professor Oak. The mythical Pokemon Shaman will appear. Trainers can follow it and try to add it to their team. Shaman is the Gratitude Pokemon, and it is able to change in the sky form using the Gracidia item.
So
that's it. That's literally all they announced for this game.
Yep.
Just not that this is going to matter for the podcast, but I did notice, like, in the press release, they say February 27th. On the website, they say starting Monday, February 28th. I'm assuming the 27th is correct.
I mean, I've already gotten the Oaks letter, so
Yeah.
what is today?
I just don't know why the
27th.
website's wrong.
Maybe it's worldwide is the 28th, in case there are places on the wrong side of the international date line where it was already
Maybe.
the 28th.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Depends on the future. I saw that you can only get this. I don't think they say it here. Man, where did I see that? I don't want to misspeak, but I saw there was an end. I thought there was an end date for Shaman. Like you
There is.
can't get it forever. Is that on the
It will be
website?
available until Sunday, March 27th at 7:59 a.m.
Oh, so they're only giving you like a month to get Shaman.
Yeah, it's a month.
Well, to get the like once you get the ticket, you can visit Shaman
Yeah.
at any time.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have a month to get the ticket, according to the website, which already has bad dates. So get it well
Perfect.
before the 27th of March.
They did do a update late last week. They said they fixed bugs. They increased the union room from 2 people to 8 people. Are 8 people even playing this game anymore? Like what? What do you?
I'm
what do you
sure
put,
there are 8 people in the world still playing this game.
Yes.
wh-
Me and
what
my
are
7
8
other
people
friends.
doing in the union room?
Hanging out. Unioning.
Chatting, swiping right,
Battles. Trades. Trades.
giving
battles.
thumbs up.
And then finally, that brings us to Legends. Although I think this is a good spot for a break. We'll come back. We'll talk about Legends, and then we'll talk about Gen 9 here. So let's take a break. The Legends stuff seems... It seems like they went through it so fast, and they seemed to like it was like a light-free update. When they worded it like 1.1, I was like, oh, that doesn't seem that big. But it seems like it's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We'll talk about it when we get back. We'll take a quick break. And we are back from our break. So we'll do Legends, and then we'll do Gen 9 here. Although I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on Legends, not because it doesn't seem big or huge or, I don't know, they added stuff. I think it's easier to talk about Legends next week when we play it. Because it just dropped this morning. I don't think any of us have had a chance to really look firsthand of what's new here. I'll just read from the press release. So Daybreak is a software update. It's version 1.1.0. It will be starting available today, February 27th. In the Daybreak update, trainers will begin investigating mysterious mass outbreaks of Pokemon that are popping all over the Hisui region. Players will also have a chance to battle powerful opponents like legendary Pokemon and Wardens, adding yet more options to the battle experience. That's what the press release says.
Okay.
There's like 4 things they do.
Yeah.
They added like more customization to the photo studio as well for anyone who cares about that. Somebody does, I'm sure.
Did they add new haircuts?
I don't think with this
they did
update.
feature the haircut people in the video.
I don't think anywhere in what I've read was new haircuts added.
Yeah, I mean, I know you're talking. They appeared, but not. They appeared in a way that made them look like they were concerned about what was happening in the world, not like, oh, and I have new hairstyles.
So my complaint before we get into this is about friends who start talking about endgame content for a game that you clearly haven't gotten to the end game when you go out to lunch with them. You just went away to the bathroom, you closed the door, came back from the bathroom, and all of a sudden they're talking about their opinions of things you haven't seen yet.
I thought you said you hated Legends and you weren't going to finish it.
I'm hearing excuses, not answers. Go on.
I don't remember. Look, I don't remember this part. What I do remember is the Master Trainer battles from Let's Go. That's what I remember. And so it sounds like the battling part here is exactly what people are saying. Ingo will show up. He'll say, I want to battle your Sneasler. I'm using a Sneasler. You're using a Sneasler. And then if you win, you get like a little check mark on your Pokedex. Like job well done. And you can do that with all 242 Pokemon. And if you didn't play Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee, this was something they talked about. They were like, hey, do you want to be the Metapod master? Metapod versus Metapod. And everyone was like, that's so funny. Throw back to the anime. Of course I want to do that. And then you do it and you realize it's the most boring, dumb thing in the entire world. And you're like, I can't believe I wasted 25 minutes doing this to be the Metapod master, which doesn't actually matter. Well, whatever. If you wanted to collect all the titles, you could. There's a lot of things that don't matter in Pokemon. I understand. But man, as somebody who wanted to be a completionist in Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee, I love that game, by the way. I say it all the time. I think Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee are fantastic games for what they are. They're relatively short and small compared to other Pokemon games. But because they're relatively short and small, I was like, why not do the Master Trainer battles? It seems fun. I did about 70 of the 150, and it stopped being fun. There's just... They're just not great. They're okay.
Toxic Protect,
or like...
I am toxic protecting right now against Will's toxicity, so...
I don't love... Here's Greg and I were talking about this the other day. I can appreciate what they are going for in a battle sense in Legends, where it kind of reminds me of an episode of the anime, where like one fast Pokemon might attack Pikachu like 3 times, and then Pikachu survives, and then Pikachu just does like one big Thunderbolt, and that Pokemon dies. it does give me like anime vibes in that sense, and it feels like all of the battles. I know Will brought up post-game stuff, and I don't want to spoil the post-game person, but there's a person in the post-game where you have to fight them, and it's probably one of the more cohesive fights. Like, it kind of feels good, but that's also because it's not like when you fight Irida and she's like, I don't know, here's like 3 EVs, pick which one you want to fight. And it's like, this isn't fair. But like, it's also like, yeah, I'm going to win, but like, this is also isn't fun to like, it's just like silly. But the thing with that like final fight, and I think why most of the fights feel a little weird in that game, is you're just one-shotting back and forth. They'll send out a Pokemon, it'll one-shot you because either it goes twice. I guess that's technically not a one-shot, but ultimately, like...
That's the definition of a not a one-shot.
Sure, but, like, they go twice before you even
right.
move. So they, like, half health, you're dead. And then, of course, if you know type weaknesses, you're going to send out the thing that one-shots it. And then they're going to send the thing that one-shots you. There's not a whole lot of options, and because Legends removed Protect, they removed a lot of, like, straight-up status moves, like I don't think there's Will-O-Wisp. There might be Will-O-Wisp. I know you can burn.
I don't know that I have not seen Will-O-Wisp on anything. It doesn't mean it doesn't exist. I just haven't seen it.
But you can't like Swords Dance 3 times in a row.
Correct.
You can't Harden 6 times in a row.
Which I'm all for.
So they got rid of both you stalling and the computer stalling, which I can appreciate in a sense of these battles feel faster. But there's also points in the battle where you just accept that like, oh, he's going to die. And like if I switch out to the Pokemon that is stronger, I'm just going to put myself at a disadvantage because they're going to go probably twice. So you're like, oh, this Roserade is going to knock out my Weasel. Whatever, that's fine. Like I will bring in my Fire Pokemon next to knock out the Roserade, and they will probably bring in a Water Pokemon to knock out my Fire Pokemon. I'm going to bring in my Grass. Like that's just how the battle system. Now that, like, you've done, like, the 20 battles in the game, it's like, okay, I get what you were going for.
Yeah.
And it's hard to show that early on when you're only fighting a trainer that has 1 Pokemon or 2 Pokemon. But because one of the people at the end of the game has a full party, it feels a little bit better.
I mean, again, as I said before, it feels like they wanted to mimic something, but they went too timid with it. Like, it would have been nice if they had included, like, the Pokemon Go raid thing where you can swipe and your Pokemon moves and dodges. If they wanted to make it more anime feel in that way, it would have been nice if they went for agile style, if you also had, at that point, not control to do a move, but you could try to dodge out of the way. Like, you could hit Y for your Pokemon to roll at the right time like you do with bosses. Like, they didn't take it far enough to mimic one or the other, and so it's kind of this muddy middle ground that at times can feel satisfying, but at other times can feel real unsatisfying. It's a real inconsistent experience, I think.
Yeah, and the thing that I had problems with was obviously I stream on Twitch. I think everyone knows that by now if you're listening to the podcast. I stream like 40 hours a week on Twitch. And I would say, and there's always people that are like backseating. There's always people that are like, oh, you won't be able to do this without grit, or I can't wait till you get to this part because I really struggled with it. And like a lot of those parts were the 2 trainers before the final credits. There's 2 trainers that pop up. And I've used no grit in this game. I've used no mints. I don't even think I changed any of my movesets. I was just like, whatever. I'm just going to click the button that says super effective. That's it. And I didn't have trouble with those 2 trainers. And when I was approaching one of the final guys to battle, I purposely went back to my PC to get like a Glameow and a Buizel and like some other garbage Pokemon, because my thought process was, if I use grit before this battle, I am going to be told, well, you only won because you used grit.
Well,
which is like,
it's in the game for that reason.
I know. It's perfectly fair.
Only use the tools that they gave you to beat the battle. Don't use the tools that they gave you You only beat me up because both of your arms were free. If you tied both of your hands behind your back, you couldn't get me. Well, no kidding.
So the
If I
entire time I'm
handicap
playing
myself-
this game, and this is a problem with me specifically on Twitch, is you have people that are upset that they struggled with the game, or you're experiencing the game easier than they did or whatnot. So I was like, what would be really fun? Can I beat this dude with a Glameow, with a Weasel, because these were the Pokemon I used throughout the entire game. It's not like I grabbed Shaman or Darkrai or Landorus or anything, right? Like these are just the Pokemon I caught and I decided to use. And I went in and I almost beat him. And I was like, oh, that was fun. And then they start you right in front of him again. And I was like, I think I could beat him this time. And then I did. There's a little twist that happens. And okay, I got to start over. And at that point, I went back and I got like my normal team. Like I put the Glameow away and I went through and I had zero problems doing it. And I kind of wish that I could have a save state in front of that dude because I'd be curious to be like, can I actually do this with a Glameow? I think I could, but that was like a fun experience for me. But I didn't find it particularly hard because there's only so much you can do in these battles. Like you don't really have maybe you could Swords Dance at the right position. Like I dire hit with Weasel at the right position. But it is pretty much a slugfest. It is I'm knocking out you, you're knocking out me. And I think that's why some people probably really like the battle system because it does make it go way faster. Mm-hmm. Like at the end of the day, like is it really hard that 5 of your 6 Pokemon died if you win? No, who cares if their water Pokemon's gonna knock out my fire? I'm just gonna bring my next Pokemon and knock them out. It's a complete slugfest. But man, when they're like, hey, you can battle Ingo 242 different times with the same Pokemon, this is just Let's Go, and I don't I guess you get rid of the Protect Stall, but it now makes sense why mints are in the game.
Yeah.
And it makes and the grit stuff is similar to the candy stuff in Let's Go. And now that all makes sense.
Yep.
Which
And
is totally
We'll
totally
see what
fine.
comes out with version 1.2 now that we've seen that they can do a 1.1 that has additional content that with a name.
Yeah.
We may see a 1.2 with a name.
Yeah, I think I even think the website gives up more information about what's happening than they said in the direct.
True.
Yeah, I have the website up here.
Massive mass outbreaks, which they didn't name in the direct.
Yeah, it seems like the shiny odds are different for massive mass outbreaks. It seems like it's harder to get shinies in that situation. It says you'll be able to go to sleep in your house, and then you'll be able to do a challenge of strength against multiple legendary Pokemon at once.
Which they didn't even mention the whole go to sleep in your house. They showed a little bit of it, but I'm like, oh, you go to sleep in your house and you go
to the dream world.
Yeah.
So you have the go to sleep and battle legendaries. You have the go to the courtyard and battle Ingo. You have the update to the photo studio, and then
which is the most important thing.
And then you have the new mass outbreak system. So those are the 4 things they introduced in this free update.
If you think I am not, the minute this podcast is over, going to that photo studio and taking a million pictures with my boyfriend, you are sadly mistaken. Because that is all I'm going to do.
Sure. And then there's the free gift of the 30 Ultra Balls, 30 Gigaton Balls, 30 Jet Balls. That they did that as well.
What's the code?
I think it's
Adventure.
Arceus Adventure. So we'll talk about the mass outbreak stuff more next week.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think some people were maybe expecting, myself included, that there would be like a $20 DLC and it would be 100 more Pokemon and maybe like another area you could travel to. That's still possible.
It's still possible. It's just nice, like Snap, we get a free DLC that adds some stuff. It's cool.
Well, that's a good. I was gonna actually compare it to Snap because I think they both have the same timeline. Like you're either that person that has gotten to the end of the game and was like, I am satisfied with this. I am moving on to the next game. They announced DLC. I'm coming back for a day or two. Cool. I am now going back to my other game. Or you are, I am going to grind out everything in this. I want the whole Pokedex. I want level 10s. I want perfect. I want to beat.
That's how you get to Arceus, man.
So I think that's nice. I think that's nice to the people who do want to grind it out. And I think it's nice that it maybe brings people that were maybe done with the game back to the game for another day or two. But as cool as it is to see a bunch of alphas in mass outbreaks, how like if you already walked away from the game, I don't know how attention grabby that is. It might be nice for like an evening, but okay. Let's get to the big news here.
Well, that's all we have this week, so goodbye.
There's no big news.
Today, the Pokemon Company announced Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet, new video games coming to the blockbuster series that first captivated fans when Pokemon Red and Green were released 26 years ago. Today's announcement was made during the special Pokemon Presents, streamed to fans around the world on Pokemon Day. The annual fan-focused pop culture holiday celebrated the launch of the original Pokemon games on February 27th, 1996. Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet will launch late 2022 and will be exclusively on the Nintendo Switch. Quote, trainers will once again embark on an epic journey of discovery and exploration, said Ishihara, president and CEO of the Pokemon Company. Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet will be an adventure unlike any other, and I cannot wait to share this incredible experience with all of you. Developed by Game Freak, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet will take a new evolutionary step in the Pokemon main. They will take a new evolutionary step in the Pokemon main series. Trainers can explore an open world where various towns with no borders blend seamlessly into the wilderness. Trainers can also be seen everywhere in this wide open world, in skies, in the sea, and the streets. As one of the main characters, trainers will jump into the world of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet to begin their adventure, where they will have a different outfit depending on which game they're playing. It's just a color difference. Trainers will either pick gosh, I'm really struggling with this cat's name.
Spaghettito.
That's the grass cat Pokemon. Fuecoco, I can say that one, right?
That's the hot Cheeto, flaming hot Cheeto.
Yep.
It's the Fire Croc Pokemon, or Quaxly, the Duckling Pokemon, to be their first Pokemon partners to start their journey.
Okay, Sprigatito is so cute.
Okay,
but...
one more paragraph, sorry. After the release of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, you will be able to link it to Pokemon Home, a service that trainers can keep their entire Pokemon collection in one place. I just want to get that out there, that Pokemon Home is compatible with this game. It is also compatible with BDSP and Legends, maybe one day, and maybe by the time this game comes out, they'll be compatible. Who knows? I just want to start with the words open world. I said this on many podcasts. I will continue saying this. The reason we're saying this again is because it will apply to the future. You can use this knowledge in the future. If your video game, doesn't matter if it's Pokemon, doesn't matter if it's on PS5, Xbox 360, the Nintendo Wii U, whatever. If your video game is an open world video game, you better believe that company is going to let you know time and time again that game is open world. They will scream it from shore to shore.
They will, as if you're Maria on the mountain. The hills are alive with the open world.
They never said that for Legends.
Nope.
And it's not, a seamless walk from Jubilife into the wilderness area game. Now, does that matter? Does that suddenly make a game better?
No.
I don't think so. I think Legends is great. The load screen between Jubilife to the Fieldlands doesn't bother me at all. I still like that game. I think the open worldness that is the Isle of Armor and the Crown Tundra, I think those are great. like, cool. If for whatever reason there's not a black loading screen between the Isle of Armor and the dojo, great. I guess I saved like 3 seconds or 2 seconds, whatever that is. Not that in itself is not a deal breaker. Like, they purposely did not use the words open world for Legends. I don't know if that was marketing, that was to set expectations, that was to save that term for this game, because I feel like they could only do that once, right? Like, this is our full open world game, and we want to attach that powerful phrase to this game and make that a big deal. I think that's ultimately like what they're doing here. Like, we don't want to waste our open world marketing on Legends, even though they kind of got that for free. But this is their first true, and I don't even know what that means. Does that mean like you can walk to all 8 gyms or 10 gyms, but you can't actually battle because there's a dude standing in front and he's like, oh, you got to get 3 more badges before you get in here? But like, we don't know.
Could be. And it also says, you have to be very careful to particular words. Various towns blend seamlessly into the wilderness. Not all towns blend seamlessly. Right? So that's more of a, like, we're going to have open world around this, and then it's a little more constricted over here, and then open world around this part, like that.
Yeah.
Well, I also have a feeling that could also be that towns are not, you can go anywhere. There are going to be invisible barriers.
Yeah.
All over the place in towns. Like,
also, you had a bit of a misread. You'll be able to see the Pokemon of this region in the skies, in the seas, in the forests, on the streets, not the trainers.
Sky battles are returning? What? Finally. The reveal, the way they did it was really great. I liked somebody broke into this room and the officer had to check it. It seemed very.
I don't think that was somebody broke into this room. That was there is somebody in here causing a loud ruckus.
Yeah,
I need to go investigate.
Yeah.
Right. It did give. To me, it gave Detective Pikachu vibes off the bat.
100% agreed. Yes.
Okay, because I was
Oh,
like,
it did?
The first thing that I said, they're announcing Detective Pikachu too.
I was
That's
like,
the first
oh,
thing
it's
that I
fine.
said.
Because I thought, what's causing the ruckus? It's probably Pikachu.
Yeah, and then they went to a shaking cup of coffee, and I was like, man, that Pikachu really liked coffee.
The minute it went to a video of somebody walking around a building, I'm like, oh, it's Gen 9. The minute I saw him going up that escalator, I'm like, there is no other option but Gen 9.
Did you play Detective Pikachu all the way to the end?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, that game ends weird.
Well, no, I was just thinking because it's like, to me, like, not only the coffee and the whole, it's like, oh, we saw something dart down the hall into this room, but it's like, it's a room full of stuff. So, you're going to have a screen and you're going to have to look for clues like in this room full of stuff. That's so
I got those vibes
Pikachu.
too. I don't know if that was it. Like, what really threw me off is when it said Game Freak, because Game Freak's not making Detective Pikachu. Like,
there you go.
Creatures is making Detective Pikachu.
Yeah. I mean, it was so like.
And we did this on the Twitch stream, so if you came and watched the Twitch stream with us, thank you. That was like cool to have everyone there. And if you missed it, that's on YouTube. But somebody pointed out that, like, no, Detective Pikachu's not canceled. They're literally hiring people to like finish and work on it, like as of like February 2nd. So it's not suddenly. Who knows? I don't know why that game's taking so long. Maybe when they announced it, they didn't even start it. Like, they were just like, hey, we announced it, but
who knows what happens? Like, it's hard to say given everything in the world.
I mean, I feel like that ship kind of sailed, honestly, unless they're waiting for like a animated series or a TV series, or they're planning on pairing this and they're waiting on something else.
Do you mean that they've waited too long for it to come out?
I feel like they did. Yeah, I feel like it's been so long.
Detective Pikachu 2 drops, or 3 in Japan, because the first one was split into 2 games or whatever. I'm in. I'm playing.
I mean, I'm still in too. I really enjoyed that game.
Yeah, I don't think there's a real true time limit on Pokemon fans in a Pokemon game, because I don't think there's a ton of outside people who are like, let's get Detective Pikachu. I don't think it's like a big outside the Pokemon world draw.
And they could also very well be timing it with when a movie comes out.
Yeah.
And like it's
I didn't think the movie got picked up again though.
Oh.
But I
Ryan
thought
Reynolds got a lot of money. He owns a lot of companies. He can do whatever he wants.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I mean, I don't think there needs to be like every movie always like secures a sequel just in case. I don't think there needs to be a sequel to Detective Pikachu, but they could easily do like an animated series or like a YouTube thing, or they we didn't even talk about this. They were doing a short YouTube thing for Legends.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm excited for that.
For the Hisui region. So yeah, this is the so that we got Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee. We got Sword and Shield. We got BDSP, which technically was made by Ilka, not Game Freak. First two games were made by Game Freak. We got Pokemon Legends, and then we have Scarlet and Violet, all main series games. For whatever reason, I don't know why people are still. Legends is not a main series game. I don't. Who are you people? Why is this still a conversation?
Exactly.
Why is it a conversation at all? I would think about this.
It's always like a point in like, well, they changed the combat system because it's not a main series game. It is a main series game. They did change the combat. That's fine.
You're still buying into it. Don't even use the word
I don't-
main series
no.
anymore. It is a Pokemon game. Period.
Yeah, I am so over the main series argument because it is a gatekeepy argument.
It is 100% a gatekeepy thing. Like, I only play the main series
game.
Pokemon games. I don't play the offshoots.
And it's no.
Just because you're good at an offshoot doesn't mean you've played
There's
a
there's
real
also a
Pokemon.
misconception of these games come out too fast. So let's just break that down real quick. The easy way anyone can do this is when you beat the game, you get what are called credits. And on those credits, it shows who worked on the video game. And you can compare those credits to the credits of other video games. And you will notice in both Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, the game that came after Sword and Shield, and Legends, the two big people, James Turner, who was the art director and also Pokemon designer, and Omori, did not work on those two games, and their names haven't been on anything since Sword and Shield. And so, based off these Pokemon designs alone, one of them being a very, very strong James Turner design, I'm sure we'll find out in a month or two that Omori is the project lead, and James Turner is probably the art director. But for Legends, the person in charge of that was, oh gosh, what is his name? His name is escaping me right now. He was the same guy in charge of Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. Again, his name not listed on like Let's Go, not listed on Sword and Shield. They have two teams. Mm-hmm. They probably have a third team. Somebody had to work on Pokemon Quest over there, whether that was like 10 people or 5 people or 2 people. Who knows? We could probably look at the credits, actually. And a lot of names in those credits are, localization people or music people. Like, if you're making music for Sword and Shield, there might be 10 people making music. They're not programming Pikachu shaders. They're not laying out they're just making music.
Oh, that attitude.
Although everybody gets to vote on the fashion choices.
Yeah. So, if the game's ready, the game's ready, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like we were like, why is Legends coming out so close to BDSP? Legends seemed fine. It was a very fleshed out, like not a perfect game. I don't think a lot of games out there are perfect. But I think that game is 1,000,000% worth $60. I think it's great. I would recommend it to anyone, unless you were a competitive battler. Then I'd be like, maybe wait. But I don't. how long? Why do Pokemon fans want to be like, oh, just take your time, take as much time as you need it? If they're ready, they're ready. Like, what else?
I think there's this weird mentality that people have gotten into where it's very similar to, I want to say, how films used to be in the 90s. Maybe 80s and 90s, where it was like when a film came out, you wanted to see it in the theater, and you only had a month and a half, unless it was a huge blockbuster, and then it was going to be gone from the theater, and you may never have an opportunity to see it again. And I think a lot of video game enthusiasts are thinking very much, I have to play this game in the first month that it comes out, or I will not be able to have the experience of that game, which is false because games are eternal unless you're Legacy of Kain and were only released on the PS2 and never released again.
I mean, okay,
But this narrative of like, oh, the devs are overworked. They need more time. I just wish they would really take their time. Where are we getting this information from? Like, there's not even.
I don't know.
The people on Sword and Shield and the people on Legends they're just different people.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But I also want to lay a lot of what Will is talking about at the feet of spoiler people.
Yeah.
And spoiler culture has gotten so rabid about not being spoiled. And so since the internet can't control themselves, and apparently neither can the people who don't want to be spoiled control themselves on the internet, there's this idea that I have to play it within the first 3 days or everything about it is going to get ruined for me. And one, just get over spoilers. Like either take all the steps yourself and try to stress to people, hey, I want to try to be as clean with this as possible. And also people get into the habit of saying, where are you at in this game, instead of, hey, have you done this part yet?
As a courtesy, yes.
As a courtesy. But also, there have been plenty of studies that saying being spoiled enhances your experience, not ruins it. If you just come to terms with it, once you see something and you see it as cool and live in the emotions of seeing it cool that time, you still aren't getting the context of it in-game, and you can still have the experience of seeing it in-game as well. Like, I've seen people are, mad that they spoiled the starters. It's like, I had a huge reaction to the starters. I still have that when I see them in the game. Like, they can exist in the same world. Like, you need to come to peace with this spoiler idea, because I think part of gatekeeping, part of anger at rushed deliveries, and part of people's just madness about I have to play this game without seeing how it's reviewed comes from this obsession around not being spoiled.
But I wouldn't use the word rush deliveries. I don't think anything about these games is rushed.
No, I don't think.
No,
but I'm saying people's reactions.
The only
to them.
Pokemon game that ever felt rushed to me was Sun and Moon. And because there were so many things in Ultra that really fleshed it out. And Sun and Moon had to come out that year no matter what because of the 20th anniversary. But even if it was quote unquote rushed, at the time, I would have said yes, Sun and Moon is worth the $40.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's just that Ultra Sun and Moon to me is a better game. And if you were I don't know which one to buy, I'd be buy Ultra because there's more Pokemon in it.
But I would also say they did that for Platinum. I can't say Diamond and Pearl felt rushed because they came out with the ultimate version in Platinum. I feel like they did the same thing with Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun and Moon that they did with Diamond and Pearl and Platinum.
Yeah.
They put out the game that they wanted to do with a better story and then put out an enhanced version with more Pokemon as their second game. So I disagree that Sun and Moon felt rushed.
It's been 18 months since the Crown Tundra.
Oh yeah, it's been a chunk of time.
Yeah, it's been a chunk
of
time.
And that whole
and
DLC,
I still haven't finished it. Wow.
That whole DLC was a full year cycle.
Yeah.
And it has been 18 months since Crown Tundra has arrived.
When did Sword and Shield come out?
Sword and Shield was 2019.
That was
right
20 years ago.
So it was announced February of 2019, which means they started working on it before they announced it. I mean, they even said in interviews, we started Sword and Shield as soon as we finished Sun and Moon. That team didn't go on to work on Ultra Sun and Moon. That was a different team. And then when they finished Sword and Shield, there was another team that was working on the DLC, and that team that finished Sword and Shield has been working on this. And Game Freak has said multiple interviews that their teams go back and forth. They might take 5 people from a team currently working on a game and move them to another team and then get those people over. So it's not, there's nothing about, like, I guess at this point to me, seeing an open world Pokemon game is like not shocking. Like they've already proven over the years they can do it. Like,
and they've been clearly giving signs that this is the direction they're heading.
Like even if you're like, well, look at Legends laid the groundwork. Okay, well, Legends is not even a month old. Right. So they didn't like suddenly come up with like this game in the last month, right? They've been working on it since Sword and Shield. Obviously their teams are next to each other. And they did it with the Crown Tundra. They did it with the Isle of Armor. They did it with the original Wild area. Like ride Pokemon, like Weirdeer and Braverary and all these ride Pokemon in Legends. They did all that stuff in Sun and Moon. You could take Sharpedo across the water. You could take Mudsdale across the rocks. Like you could take Stoutland. And, like Stoutland is just Ursaluna. Like every Pokemon game, they have always built on top of each other. The whole like, well, maybe they're just testing the water with Legends. No, they were confident with Legends. There is no testing.
They were confident with Legends. Well, I mean, they were confident with Legends as a game. I still think they were too timid in the decisions they made with.
And who knows? They may expand on it in this game as it comes forward. I mean, I love what you said, Greg, because I could just imagine like rolling and dodging, right? Or and like have your Pokemon kind of move with you as you move. They showed that you can move around the battle. Have the Pokemon kind of follow you a little as you move through the battle and see how that affects the battle. Anyways, that's not this
even with like Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee, and Sword and Shield. Like it's not like 6 months into Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee sales, they were like, hey, maybe we should put Pokemon walking around in Sword and Shield. Like, no, they were committed. Like that was not like a last minute change.
Well, it felt like a last minute change.
We don't know anything about the catching. They did say you can catch and battle wild Pokemon. Theoretically, you can technically battle and catch Pokemon in Legends. I don't know why you would. You can catch every legend in that game without well, not every legend, but almost every legend without battling it. I think Regigigas they make you battle, right?
Yeah, you have to battle Regigigas.
Yeah, you have to battle Regigigas, but you can catch all the forces of nature without actually engaging in a battle. It looks like it's taking place in Spain.
Absolutely.
Yes.
It is very. Let's be clear. It is very Spanish inspired. It is not. No more than Galar was all an exact replica of the British Isles.
Correct.
This is not an exact replica of Spain, but it is clearly Spanish influenced.
Yeah, I think you look back and it's easier to see in retrospect of like, why is Legends coming out so early? Because they clearly had this ready. Like they knew that this was the announcement they wanted to tell. What are we doing with competitive in Sword and Shield? What's happening after August? Now we know what's happening after August. I do not think it is a coincidence that Niantic a week ago said, we're doing a Safari Zone in Spain.
Yeah.
And then this game happens. I don't think that's a coincidence. I think that was like, hey, we're doing it. I would probably I'd probably put money down that Niantic didn't know this either. They were probably told, hey,
yeah, probably.
We want a Spain event. We want you to announce it around this time. I mean, I'm sure Niantic has the whole schedule for the year. I'm sure they know.
I mean, Janine is on it.
Yes.
I am sure they know what's happening in what is that Spain event? Is it March or is it April? I think it's.
I don't know. You were thinking about.
I was thinking. Yeah.
So give me one image or item from the trailer that made you, because I have one that like screamed Spain to me when I gave it a little more thought and everything. So Greg, what's one thing that was kind of
so there is in the trailer there's a shot. I think it's a shot of Pikachu in front of a building, and the building's tiling is the
I know what you're talking about.
Is the triangle texture tiles, and immediately went, oh, that's Barcelona.
Okay, interesting. Because there's the cathedral in Barcelona that was.
And then when they went to the cathedral, because I think they did that, and then they went to the cathedral. I'm like, oh, now it really is Barcelona.
And that's like Gaudi, I think, was the artist who designed that cathedral. Yep. Steve, what did you have?
I thought it was Spain based off the roofs.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know what those are called.
It does have
clay.
Spanish styling clay tiles.
Yes.
Yeah, the clay things.
So one other thing that stuck out to me, which seemed a little weird when they first showed it, and then I thought about it a little more as people were starting to say Spain, and I was like, oh, this is very obvious, is the windmills.
Yeah.
And because the classic work of Spanish language literature is Don Quixote. And the whole story is that he used to attack windmills thinking that they were giants. That's like literally Band of La Mancha if you need it in English. But the whole story is that he was a very old man who was a knight, and he would go out on missions to attack windmills. And that is so. If you look at anything Spain, if it's not a Spanish galleon ship, it is a very old style windmill with a man on a horse, like looking like he's going to attack the windmill.
And in the housing inside the house, the color scheme felt very Spanish. And then there's the picture of the dancer. It's not flamenco; it's the other one, whatever. Which is
Oricorio?
No,
Oricorio has to be this game, right?
Of a woman dancing.
Yeah, it's like
a couple things here.
It's Seville. It's from Seville. Savannah, something like that.
Oh, I was told it's not called Seville. Gosh, how did Seville? Yeah. A couple things. The Pokemon names themselves really give away the Spanish vibe.
Yeah.
So I wanted to point that out. I also want to point out that the Fue Coco is not an apple. He's like a chili pepper
with an apple face.
It's a flaming hot Cheeto.
I mean,
somebody said that like the white face is supposed to be like a skull, and it's supposed to be a Spanish thing.
It's like a hollow from Bleach.
Yeah. So the face, like if you look at the face, it does look like a slice in an apple. So I get what people are saying, but if you look at the whole thing, it is a pepper shape.
Yeah, which makes sense.
Fue Coco, Fue from Fuego, isn't Fuego?
Fire.
Yeah.
Coco is like, the tapu.
Coco's like that Spanish movie from Disney.
Yeah. That was a Tapu Koko joke. Hisuian Zoroark is shown in one of the screenshots, so that's just something to point out. There's a fountain with a Dratini. There is the first thing that stood out to me and what made me so excited and so happy is just how colorful this game is.
Yeah.
I would if you are listening to the show and you've been playing a bunch of Legends, I don't blame you. Legends is very good. If you haven't gone back to Sword and Shield, just close out Legends and go back to Sword and Shield. It is night and day in color.
Sword and Shield bright it is.
I mean,
so vibrant, so much color.
Biggest complaint about the graphics in Arceus is how monotone and sort of muted everything is.
It's because they haven't invented color
Because
yet.
they haven't invented. I get
It's
it.
true.
Yeah. Are we going to talk about the orange and grapes?
What?
The fruits.
Okay, we don't know about the orange. We haven't.
Well, they had like a charcuterie board in the office.
Right. So on the charcuterie
adult
board,
lunchable.
there is in the bowl there are orange and grapes. There's two crests on one of the doors. If you freeze it, there's one that has an orange slice, an orange symbol. The other has a grape symbol. And then the outfits in Scarlet, they're wearing. They look like they have an orange crest on their shirt, and they're wearing orangey pants. And in Violet, they have a more grapey feel and a grape. So I don't know what the orange and grape ultimately represents. but that seems to be a big symbolism between the two games, because the trainer outfits are different colored between the two versions,
Do you know
and
what
they seem to
bothers
support
me?
this. Huh?
You know what bothers me?
What?
Is how okay, so you remember they do like black and white, ruby, sapphire, sword and shield. The fonts are different for
Yeah.
Scarlet and Violet.
Yeah.
And
Well, okay,
that's like
wait.
the first time they did that, right?
Yeah.
But here, wait. Step back. One step back. The vibrant colors. Many symbols and signs are given to you that you got to throw out your current Switch and get an OLED.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Because even in the screenshot, they have like a pile of old Switches, and then only the OLED one is plugged in. And it's like,
Yeah.
you're gonna want to play this on
You're
the
gonna
good
wanna play
color
Subliminal
one.
marketing right
Okay,
here.
I also want to say that the Scarlet font gives an old world feel, and the
Yeah.
Violet font gives a futuristic feel,
Yeah,
which makes me
and then they had
think
the clock that was spinning super fast.
So it makes me feel like the black and white Future City Nature Tree division.
Oh.
I got a very strong feel from those fonts. So I don't know what there's all these little details that I'm like, okay, what could be this story? And there's there's that whole scene of like ancient antique treasures, because there's like an archaeology feel in that room, because there's like a pile of
Yeah, I agree with you.
antiquities. So all these things, I'm like, okay, so are the two versions going to be dealing with slightly different? Like, is the villain team going to be like Hoenn Waterland is going to be future past? Like, we want to preserve the past, we want to push towards the future, and it's going to have a more Hoenn Oris feel of two teams that are going to appear, but depending on which game you have, you're going to focus on the futurist plotline or the conservationist plotline. Like, is this going to be a time thing that they are fighting with? Simply because the fonts are so different, and they are already clearly drawing distinct lines between the two games. With the
It's going to be
coloring.
like the Lake House. That's the movie
yeah,
where
yeah.
they were sending letters through time.
Letters Through Time.
Past and forth. Yeah, you're gonna. Okay, so it's the evil teams are Team Laranja, Laranja,
Yeah.
and Team Uva.
Got it.
Stakes in the ground.
There's a screenshot of what I'm assuming is the trainer's house.
Or it could be
like
the professor's house.
It
Could
could
be the
be the professor's house.
You could see like a garden, and then the brick sidewalk, and there's like a mailbox, and you could see the pumpkin patch, and there's like a female character running to the door. And it just kind of reminded me like the beginning of Sword and Shield. And this kind of plays into the open worldness. Like when you walk out the door of Sword and Shield, you're in that town, and then you walk immediately into the first route seamlessly, and then you walk into the next town seamlessly, and then you walk into the route after that seamlessly. Like again, they've been doing this. It's been and I think going from Sword and Shield to the Crown Tundra to the Isle of Armor, like they really cranked it up very quickly, and their Legends, I think they cranked it like for as slow as this company has been. And I think that's kind of what my biggest problem with the Gen 4 games were, is like, what did you even do here besides like add online? And like that was important, right? Like trading online, battling online, communicating, very important. But like every game was doing that. Every game was like, let's play with each other, let's connect with each other. So it wasn't like unique to Pokemon. And then Gen 5, they did a lot of stuff. Gen 5 was definitely a game where they listened to the fans, and they were like, let's make it more accessible, let's add hardcore features, let's just nothing but quality of life in Gen 5. And then Gen 6 was the move to 3D.
Yep.
From the jump from Gen 8 to Gen 9 seems awesome. Like just they just like feels like they figured it out.
Yeah.
Maybe, not the tree graphics, but like everything.
I knew that was going to come up. The trees, the grass.
The slow build up to the trees.
I
It all paid off.
protect against toxic. I am over your
Yes.
toxicity.
One thing I do kind of notice, though, is that they mention a lot about Pokemon battles and building your Pokedex and everything, and not a lot about trainer battles. So
Yeah, I mean, like,
that's an interesting choice.
I'm also I was thinking about this too. If it is going to be truly open world, I am curious how they're handling the 8 gatekeep moments. Because if it's open world and you can truly go anywhere, what are the gyms or trials or whatever going to look like in this game?
So one thing that has, like, an idea that has come to me that is based in whispers of nothingness, besides the gold bars and chalices and doubloons or whatever that were a brief flash in that graphic, is what if it's around like the 7 cities of gold, which were a lot of the Spanish explorers believed were in South America that they were looking for, and was a really good cartoon of the 80s. And what if it's like you have to unlock some mystery, and it will give you access to an area that is like, this is the challenge that you now have to. Like, you have to find one of the 7 cities, unlock it, and then that's the challenge that will be your regulating stage.
I mean, I'm open to anything.
Also, do you think that the spider web drape cloth on that chair looks like Viola's first gym? Because it has like little drips on it. I think in the picture, like, it's hard to see because it goes by quick.
I feel like that symbol is something.
Yeah, I don't
kind
know
of
what
felt like
is.
it was almost like a map, like a map to a building and hallways of an octagonal building or something like that, with sections marked out.
When they do the pan through Delfino Square, you can see all 18 type symbols, so it doesn't look like there's any new types. But also it seems that they took those symbols from Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, the like fighting symbol, fire symbol, which is really good for accessibility.
Absolutely.
To have those symbols available. They really seem to focus on different weather. They like, here's the sun rising, here's fog, here's a sandstorm, here's rain, which is like not like, that shouldn't be shocking to anyone who's played Legends or has played Sword and Shield. They really, I think they kind of went overboard with some of the weather stuff in Sword and Shield. It was awful to play that game in a sandstorm. Yeah, I think there's moments where this trailer looks pretty rough, and then there's moments where, like, when they show the close up to the Seviper, you're like, whoa.
And
like, how did we go from like one screenshot to like how amazing the Seviper looks? It's almost jarring that like there's not a consistency here, but I wouldn't it's they probably had this trailer ready for months. Like, it is nothing, as we learned from Sword and Shield and Let's Go and everything, it's gonna look better closer to release. But that Seviper shot really stood out to me of like, oh wow, why I can see the scales on Seviper.
It's going to look better on that OLED Switch that I don't have.
It's almost like this game has do you know how Auras and Sun and Moon look different, but they still looked like pretty good?
Yeah.
Like Sun and Moon didn't look like much better than Auras, but the art style is different, so it looks different. I don't know if this looks better than Sword and Shield, but like you can see that the style is like clearly different, right? Like Sword and Shield has like this. I don't want to say that Sword and Shield looks more cartoony, because like Let's Go is very chibi-ish, but this doesn't look realistic like the X and Y was going for. Like I like where it's at. I really like it. I just don't know how to explain it.
I think this is more on par with Legends. Like I think I find a lot of similarities in the graphic style with Legends.
Yeah. I'm gonna also say like
I could see that.
The water is terrible. Absolutely atrocious.
I recently had my eyes open to how fast a company can make graphical improvements from the Final Fantasy live letter, because they're like, "Hi, we've been working on improving the faces and textures for just a month, and it's shocking how different they are." So, like, people who are like, "Oh, this is what it looks like," and they can never make changes in by the time the game came out. Like, I've already seen living proof of what can happen in just a month of saying we are only going to focus on this. It was night and day. So, like, I am now even more like, whatever we get in the trailers is absolutely not going to be necessarily what we get at the end, because they can turn these things around a lot faster than I thought they ever could.
And also, one thing that I've been thinking about that I don't think we've ever mentioned is they're delivering these trailers over YouTube, which means it has to go over an internet connection and it has to be playable on phones, computers, TVs, right? They're going to render it down.
Yeah.
So that it is an acceptable experience for even the worst player, or like to a level, which you don't have to do when it's a device that's directly connected to your program, or you're playing it directly on that device to screen, right? Then you can do the full render, highest quality graphics. So it's very hard. I mean, we grew up in the 80s, Greg. We know how bad VHS television can look, right?
Oh, yeah.
So that's why I find it very hard to judge graphics, at this stage, and also as delivered through YouTube. Even if YouTube does offer a 4K option, not everybody's going to have a 4K player. And if you're delivering only 4K video to somebody who's over a cellular signal on an iPhone 6, they're going to have a very bad experience.
Yeah. I just really like this art direction.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, so far, I like how colorful it is, but given sort of the region, like, I expect it to be very colorful.
Yeah.
I'm excited that
I said this before. I just didn't like the art direction of Legends.
Yeah.
I think Legends looks fine. I think it's just very brown.
I think it's very exciting that it's in a Mediterranean feel, which is very sunny and vibrant and beachy, and I'm excited for everything that I've seen so far. I will freely admit I did not expect this at all today, and the minute it started, I'm like, I'm so happy.
Yeah, but again, I don't know what they would have done. I guess they could have announced it in March or April or whatever, but there had to be some game coming out in November.
No, there had to be something coming out in November.
Yeah.
I just didn't think it was going to actually be Gen 9.
They had the briefest glimpse of a map of the region on that OLED, the in-game OLED, and it's just like, why can't I see the whole thing? But
we'll wrap up here. Obviously, we can continue talking about this next week and the following week, and whenever they decide to do a second trailer or a third trailer or whatever. Probably not anytime soon, especially with what's happening in the world. But is there a starter that stands out to you both?
I will just say this. I am torn between Sprigatito and Quaxley. That chili pepper can go to the trash where it belongs.
And even though I call it the Flaming Hot Cheeto, I'm kind of drawn to Fuecoco just for the memes. I hate it, but I don't want another cat.
Yeah, I'm
more
curious.
cats.
I am almost always a grass starter person, so I'm just naturally drawn to it. But Quaxley is
Quaxley is James Turner. Has to be.
so cute. So cute.
For those that don't know, James Turner did like Ice Cube, Galarian Ponyta, Poiple,
Also,
Vanillux.
I think it's a hat, personally.
Oh, yeah.
My husband thinks it's a greaser hairdo.
I think it's hair.
Uh,
I think it's
It could
hair,
be
and I
both.
think they're gonna put him in the anime, and his hair is gonna be like the joke. Like it's gonna he's gonna get electrocuted. It's gonna be spiky. He's gonna get rained on. It's gonna be flat.
Well, it's hair in the shape of a hat.
yeah, it's hat hair.
And that's why he's earnest and tidy, because he wants to keep his hair perfect at all times.
I don't know. Again, no choices until the final evolutions come. But I am absolutely. I really think Quaxley. Quaxley has the best name. I'm sorry, it's the best name out of them. But I'm really drawn to that duck. I'm very drawn to the cat.
I think Quaxley and Duckling share the same. I think they're both known as the Duckling Pokemon.
Ducklet.
Yeah. Well, it was exciting. It looked good.
Yeah.
I'm excited. If you want to see my reaction, that's up on YouTube.
Waterbird Pokemon. Sorry.
If you're watching this on YouTube, feel free to comment your favorite starter or what you liked about the trailer or what you didn't like or what we missed. Or now that you know he's a chili pepper and not an apple.
Still got an apple-y feel. Like I'm solidarity to people who think it looks like an apple because it certainly does.
Yeah, I think it's the stem. The stem is weird. So, but I think we'll just do Pokemon of the week because we ran long.
Good. I knew we were going to. I didn't even prepare a song.
Didn't even prepare a song.
Didn't even
All right.
prepare a song.
Last week's Pokemon, I had this whole big thing about an Australian power plant. I didn't mention what type of power plant it was. That was for you to figure out on your own, closing down early because of the competition from renewable resources, and it's going to be turned into a 700 megawatt battery used to store energy. And I made a reference to the government and citizens of Galar who should consider doing the same thing because of a certain Pokemon from their area where its predecessor burns a certain fossil fuel not mentioned, and that it's been known to drop that fossil fuel, I don't know in what form, and also made a comment about misspelling of words, so don't learn how to spell words from Pokemon names. There you go, Greg.
It's
Wheezing.
Carkol.
Carkol.
I feel like I was close.
You didn't say
Roly-Poly.
Galarian wheezing, so no, you were not.
Roly-Coly spelled wrong. Carkol spelled wrong. Colossal spelled
Spelled
correctly.
right.
Carkol, a very good Pokemon name.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Because it's a car, it has coal, and it's also like charcoal.
It's a cart. It's a mining cart.
It's really
Yeah.
great. It's very, very good.
Also, the shiny is super cute.
No trivia on this bad boy.
Well, why would
I
there be?
can't get them all. Sorry.
You gotta wait like 20 more years for good trivia to come out about Pokemon that are only 5 years old.
Well, see, the thing is,
3
if you
years in
have
this
a
case.
Carkol or any of that family in your party, then you've got to have Galarian wheezing, coughing in your party to counterbalance your carbon emissions. Offsets, carbon
That makes
offsets.
sense.
Offsets. Close your footprint.
All right, are you ready for this week's Pokemon? Or wait,
No.
wait, there's no. What has the shiny?
Shiny is great. There's no shuffle.
Okay,
No shuffle, no trivia.
Yeah.
Great shiny.
Sorry, can't keep. They can't keep up with me. That's the problem. All right, this week's Pokemon. Hola y bienvenidos a Pokémon de la Semana. This jolly Pokemon looks anything but with its pouty face and eyes hidden beneath a wide-brimmed lotus sombrero. While its predecessor may be found among the watery weeds, this week's Pokemon must get stoned before it can become carefree. And that means a literal rock.
Actually, I think I know what this one is. Hey, thanks for listening. Thanks for making it to the end. If you're listening through the podcast apps that you use, thank you. Hey, if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, we're almost to the next milestone of reviews. I think almost 2,000 reviews. So if you have not left us a review on Apple Podcasts, it takes like 45 seconds to like hit the 5. You don't even have to like write anything. You just hit the 5-star button. That would be helpful. If you want to write something nice, I read them all, and they sincerely make my day.
Absolutely.
they counter out the people who send me dumb messages every now and then. So if you want to help out the show, and you know, one of the easiest ways to help out is review an Apple podcast. I think Spotify is supposed to roll out reviews eventually, but who knows what that company is doing. If you're watching on YouTube, smashing that like button, smashing that bell, smashing your keyboard in the comments. I don't even think YouTube cares what you put in the comments. Just smash your keyboard. That's cool. I'll like that. But I appreciate anyone who's made it to the end. I will be streaming on Twitch this week. I will be checking out the new update to Pokemon Legends. I am 2 Pokemon away from getting my Shiny Charm in that game. I'm still really liking Legends. I'm on the fence debating if I want to Shiny Hunt Shaman or not in BDSP. I don't really want to soft reset, but I do want Shiny Shaman, and it feels like it's the only way to do it. So maybe I'll do that. Who knows? I have a lot of content planned until Gen 9, so I'm not worried about that. I am very excited for Gen 9. It'll be great when it comes out. Hopefully the world will be in a better place in late 2022, which is AKA November. Maybe we'll get lucky. Maybe it's October. Maybe we'll get unlucky. Maybe it's December. But if you want to follow Will on Twitter, at Washing the Sink, Greg on Twitter, at White Wing, I'm at Dragging a Lake, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff the same, PKMNcast. If we had an ad or sponsor in this episode, I'm going to guarantee you the promo code is probably PKMNcast as well, unless it was Avery Plate. But thank you so much for listening. We will see you all.
Secret word.
Oh, secret word. Secret word
is hot kitties.
Hot kitties. Got
Yep.
it. We will see you guys next week. This has been another episode of the Pokemon Podcast, and we are
Super effective.
Super Spanish. Woo!
muy bien.
We win.